Hey there, and well, this is well.
Well, well, well. Well, well, well.
This is going to be a special news article because normally I would just put this under my BCL news, and for the first time, I'm going to throw out some facts and numbers because you have to. Let's look at the headline before I start pouring my drink, because goddamn. But Rockstar, Grand Theft Auto 6 to have female hero, scale back racist, sexist jokes. Yeah, right. Okay, well, let's see. Let me finish off the St. Brendan's. I would drink it right from the bottle, but I forgot to put it in the refrigerator, so I had to pour some ice on this, and goddamn, this is going to be a long one. So, anyway, before I get to this whole friggin' mountain of bullshit with yet another franchise that I loved as a kid and, well, a teenager into my adulthood now, yeah. I hope you like the news article. Wow, the news intro as always, and just let me get to this, okay? Oh, Brendan, he helped me. So, let's get to the meat of this, okay? Boy. Grand Theft Auto 6 to have female hero scale back racist, sexist jokes report. Gotta say, as usual, off the bat, most of us that are sane that have been playing video games for a long time, like goddamn, I've been playing video games since the 80s, and I've never, ever had a problem with a female protagonist, with whether it's Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, or Lara Croft, or Tifa and Aerith from the Final Fantasy series. In fact, I put more time than I care to admit at one point in my life into World of Warcraft. I would make a female demon hunter. And anytime like people would make, games, oftentimes like Mass Effect. Mass Effect, you'd play through it one time with Shepard as a male. I'd play through it a second time for more achievements as the female Shepard. Nobody, I don't care anybody out there, any real gamer has a fucking care about a female protagonist. That's not the issue. The issue comes from scaling back racist and sexist jokes. Oh, because yes, everybody who's played Grand Theft Auto over the past 20 years, I mean, yeah, the racist and sexist jokes, that's where you're drawing the line. Coming from a franchise that became popular and well known for just being a fucking degenerate, for literally beating hookers to death or murdering cops and just all the other things that I probably can't even fucking say on YouTube that we've known Grand Theft Auto to be. But now it's 2022 and oh boy, we have to draw the line with jokes.
Just a joke.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
The next installment of the Grand Theft Auto video game series will have the series' first ever female protagonist and aims to scale back its use of offensive humor, particularly aimed at minority groups according to a report, because, yeah, okay. The female Latina protagonist of Grand Theft Auto 6 will be part of a duo of main characters inspired by Bonnie and Clyde, Bloomberg reported on Wednesday. I have no problem with that. Again, off the bat, I don't give a shit if we've had, and I'm going to go through this in a minute, all kinds of main protagonists in Grand Theft Auto. Nobody cared about, you cared about the main characters, but you didn't care what they were. Black or white or just redneck and whatever. The game will take place in a fictionalized version of Miami in South Florida. According to the report, the last Grand Theft Auto game to take place in a fictionalized Miami was 2002's Vice City, which everybody played, and when my friend Carlton sees this, some people could argue to this day that Vice City probably has, what some people would say the best video game soundtrack in history, but at least for us it did, because we're all 80s babies, and every single song on Vice City I know. Which is scary because, fuck, I'm old.
Ripley from Alien 3.
Fuck, you're old.
Grand Theft Auto 6's developers, Rockstar Games, are also reportedly abandoning the series' record of making crude, potentially offensive jokes about minority groups. The developers are being cautious to not punch down at the expense of such groups, according to the report.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Previously, Grand Theft Auto games stoked controversy. You think? both for their violent and explicit content, including letting players set murder police officers, commit mass shootings, and have sex with prostitutes. Not sober. And that was kind of the point of the game, and then you would beat them to death or just steal their money and shit. As well as use their use of humor that critics said was racist, sexist, and homophobic. Yeah, no shit. That's why we fucking played it for.
Duh!
That's why we still miss, comedy when you were actually allowed to be funny. Like every time the legend himself, Dave Chappelle, makes any kind of fucking special, guess what? Bill Burr just had a special came out. I've listened to it 3 goddamn times. Joe Rogan, freaking Ricky Gervais, whenever they fucking make a special, within minutes of it fucking airing, here comes a certain group of fucking people on Twitter, not the majority, but the very vocal minority. Because if this was such an issue, Rockstar or anybody watching this shit with the racist, sexist, homophobic bullshit.
Bullshit.
Boy, in a minute, we're going to check out the fucking sales of the Grand Theft Auto franchise because, yeah, it's just, boy, they're really hurting for money right now.
I'm broke as shit.
Gamers. pillared the reported changes on Twitter Wednesday, pointing out that politically correct dialogue would contrast awkwardly with Grand Theft Auto's violent gameplay. Yeah. Here in this Twitter sometimes. You will treat women and people of color with respect while running them over with a tank. Another said, relieved to see that the character I will use to shoot an innocent person in the face and steal their car will at least care about diversity, equity, and inclusion standards. And this is why I will endlessly say, and I'm very cautious what I say on YouTube because it's a different platform and I get that. But the thing with podcasting and stuff is things are just a joke and a joke. And who are we to decide what's too offensive and what's not too offensive? And that's the point of comedians and comedy is like, I still feel like to this day that all comedy should be, off limits. It should be, groundbreaking. It should be offensive. It should make you feel uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, all comedy, all of it is at its core subjective. And it's a very simple thing that there used to be a time where if you didn't like something, you had the option to either change the fucking channel, turn off the podcast, click off the YouTube channel, and that's it. But now it's because I have blue hair and I have 19 chins and I'm offended, so let me just now boycott, Netflix or something, or Rockstar. So, Grand Theft Auto 6's release is at least 2 years away, and two Rockstar Games employees quit the company's Edinburgh office due to frustrations about the game's slow development. Okay, it's not. The game's slow progress is partially due to changes that Rockstar Games implemented to improve employees' working conditions after reports emerged of exceedingly long working hours and a frat boy culture, according to Bloomberg. Rockstar, which is owned by Take-Two, did not respond to a request for comment. But, yeah. So, Grand Theft Auto 5, which was released in 2013, it's 2022. We're going on almost a fucking decade since the last Grand Theft Auto. You know why? Because it's been re-released about 19 fucking times in the past 10 years on everything but your watch. And can you blame them? No, because we're going to pull up the numbers in a few seconds here and show you the revenue. Can't blame these guys. Just like, Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Hey, me and my friend Carlton, we'd make that joke about that. Like Skyrim, they aren't just beating the dead horse, okay? They've beaten the fucking dead horse, skinned it alive, sold the fucking skin, then took the bones, bleached the fucking bones, and then ground the fucking bones into powder and sold the powder off. And then I'm sure at some point, I think friggin' Bethesda would take the Skyrim IP and use a Ouija board and resurrect its fucking soul and find a way to sell that. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Now, here's Chris's and the loser, my game of numbers. And I know people would always say in the past that Wikipedia, it's kind of a weird site and everything, and just the numbers aren't always accurate or opinions, but it's hard to find video game sales, and just, bear with me for a second. So I highlighted this. GTA 3 came out in 2001, and fuck, I'm old.
So old.
Was 20 when that game came out. But, the meat of what I'm going to keep doing is, the meat of this is looking at just the numbers and the revenue. So, back in 2001, it was the best-selling game of 2001 and sold over 14.5 million copies by March 2008. So 7 years. And again, numbers. This is back in 2001. The console generation wasn't the way it is now. So, And just comes down to, okay, I just want to right here, critical release, Windows version, mobile version, but here, sales. And it just says, United States, the game had sold 5.3 million units by June of 2004, and then 6 million units by December, and there he goes. By March of 2008, it sold 14.5. And before I get on to the next one, here it comes right there, controversies. And this is every single GTA. They have controversy, every single one, and comedy and violence in video games. Shit, Mortal Kombat, since the day that was fucking released, it had controversy. And, let's break down the revenue of Mortal Kombat. But so, okay, this is back in 2001. This is GTA 3. Main character actually didn't have any dialogue, was just like this generic crook white guy, and nobody played it because of the characters. It was just groundbreaking. It was this big open sandbox game, and for the first time you were, mowing down cops and shit, and you were beating up, random people and hopping onto a bus and just running over old people and stuff. Now we get to, boy, The Legend of Vice City. And again, the soundtrack melts my heart. So a year later, we get down to Vice City, which came out in 2002. I'm just going to highlight this again. So, the best-selling video game of 2002 and has sold 17.5 million copies, considered one of the most significant titles of the sixth generation of video games and one of the greatest video games ever made. It won numerous year-end accolades, including Game of the Year awards from several publications. All right, now scrolling down to, yet again, we'll pop this out, and sorry here, controversies, because here they are. Vice City had several controversies. I'm not going to even get into them because it's the same groups, the same mindless violence, the same shit they're bitching about every single time. We're used to it. Okay. Next installment. But Vice City, it's been so long since I forgot the main protagonist's name. I'm pretty sure it was, Ray Liotta, the legend. I'm sorry, Ray.
Rest in peace.
Of Tommy Vercetti. Nobody cared that, 17 million fucking copies and everything, that it was a white dude. Because now we get into San Andreas. Now, San Andreas came out in 2004. Excuse me. San Andreas would say, considered by many reviewers to be one of the greatest video games ever made. Now, look at this. By 2004, it was the best-selling video game. 27.5 million copies sold as worldwide as of 2011. And for the first time, San Andreas, it was, you had a black character, which didn't care. I think his name was CJ. Been a long time since I played it. But, let's see, let's go down. It's, basically it was making fun of, not making fun of, it was just San Andreas and the whole, rappers and stuff in the LA, that crime scene. But here's the plot. Yep, CJ, in 1992, following his mother's murder, CJ returned home to Los Santos and to attend her funeral. And that's the basics of the plot, and nobody cared. It's a character, that's it. Nobody give a shit. And let's see if we can try to find it, because I'm sure it's somewhere in this article, but reception, sales, here we go again. Controversy, which, remember this, the hot coffee mod, because it was CJ having sex with a girl in his car and everything. But so right now, man, seems like right now, the GTA franchise, it's not doing that good. Even though by now we're I didn't start with the first two games because they're not worth talking about, and they're just kind of over the top PC card kind of games, and just no one really cared about them until GTA 3 came out and just changed the genre. I didn't have a computer back then. I just had a console. So when Part 3 came out, myself and millions of other people were introduced to this brand new world. Now, that was San Andreas. So technically speaking, it's 3, 4. Technically, San Andreas is the 5th one, but, they didn't call it Part 5. Now we get to GTA 4. GTA 4 was not my favorite by any means. Not a lot of people's favorite, but numbers don't lie, people. We have GTA 4 came out in 2008. It was released for the PS3 and Xbox 360 consoles and Windows. Now, boy, GTA 4 broke industry sales records. It became the fastest selling entertainment. Now remember, this is not movies, CDs, comic books. This is the fastest selling entertainment, which is across all entertainment.
Holy shit.
In history at the time, earning $300 million in its first fucking day. $300 million. No movie has ever done that in a single day. And it sold $500 million, $500 million in its first goddamn week. This is back in 2008 for a Grand Theft Auto game. Think about that for a second.
A lot of money.
So, many critics as one of the greatest video games of all time. And let's see, it is among the best-selling video games with over 25 million copies sold as of 2013. Now, again, this is 2013. The past 7, 8, 9 years, probably sold a couple more, but, the point is from '08 to 13, 5 years, that's what they're looking at. So, let's see. Criticism directed at the game's depiction of violence and players' ability to drink and drive. Oh, yeah, of course, because why not? So, let's scroll down again as we keep doing. Music wasn't the best, but just still can't beat Vice City. There we go. Controversies yet again. And not even gonna fucking go over them, because why would you for? So 24 hours, and yeah. So that's it for GTA 4. Was my favorite. I liked it. I think his name was Nikolai. It was yep. Let's see. And Nikolai it was all about Russians and stuff, and it was okay. Just that people at that point didn't care. You're not playing it for the story too much, and now, oh boy, we get to the king itself. That was 2008. The final one. Took 5 years, 5 fucking years, to make Grand Theft Auto 5.
The king! The king is here!
Here we go. Extensively marketed and widely anticipated. The game broke industry sales records and became, yet again, 5 years later, the fastest selling entertainment product in history, earning $800 million in its first day and $1 billion in its first 3 days. 1 billion.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
It received critical acclaim, with praise directed at its multiple protagonist design. And if you know about Grand Theft Auto 5, you had 3 main characters. Basically, a kind of Ray Liotta, Goodfellas type. You had Trevor, which was most people's favorite, and just this redneck, drunken douchebag and stuff. And you had Franklin, a black guy, well, black kid. I mean, not sure if same guy, but oh boy, let's see. Look at this. The second best-selling video game of all time, which I'm pretty sure it's Mario, since Mario's even, I think, older than I am at this point. But 165 million copies shipped. And as of April of 2018, one of the most financially successful entertainment products of all time, with about $6 billion in worldwide revenue. This is just part 5.
All that money.
Let's scroll down, and that could come to GTA Online. It could come down to it's been re-released about 1,400 fucking times. It said it's on everything, but I'm surprised it's not on my smartphone or something, or yeah. Stephen Ogg portrayed Trevor Phillips, and nobody cared. Nobody cared that you had a black main character or a redneck character. People just like GTA 5. It's a very fun game, especially with GTA Online. GTA Online, you can make your own character. But say right there, I mean, the revenue for GTA Online, who knows? You got people buying shark cards and stuff, and just they're buying fucking mods and everything. But see, re-released, of course, there's been so many of them. Finally on PC, there's a new recent version that was on PS5 and Xbox Series X. Awards, I mean, the awards right there, guys, they speak for themselves. Sales. Oh boy. In November 2014, the game became the best-selling game of all time in the UK, overtaking Black Ops.
Impressive.
The fastest video game to gross $1 billion. The highest revenue generated by an entertainment product in 24 hours. And the most viewed trailer for an action-adventure video game.
It's breathtaking.
A digital version was released on October 18th for 360, which went on to become the highest grossing day 1 and week 1 release on Xbox Live. So the numbers are just there, guys. And let's scroll down. Oh, nothing right here. So I wanted to any part that, controversies yet again. This game has generated several controversies related to its violence and depiction of women. Wow, so this is, let's see, 4, 5, Vice City, San Andreas, and yet again, after, Jesus Christ, almost 20 years, you're still like, the friggin' violence and depiction of women. Well, $6 billion fucking dollars in sales. I don't see how its violence and depiction of women is really hurting the revenue for this series. Let's see. The game became subject to widespread online debate over its portrayal of women. I just want to read this because, again, with a $6 billion game, I feel obligated to read this, sack of horse shit. In the wake of the backlash against GameSpot journalist Carolyn Petit, when she claimed the game was misogynistic in her review, of course it is. Everything's misogynistic when they're their favorite words. After her review webpage received more than 20,000 mostly negative comments. I'm sure it's a lot more than that, and they weren't mostly negative. Many journalists defended her right to an opinion. Yeah, have an opinion. I mean, you're stupid, but have an opinion. and lamented the gaming community's defensiveness towards criticism. Okay. Television personality Karen Gravano and actress Lindsay Lohan both filed lawsuits against Rockstar and allegations that characters in the game were based on their likenesses. Sure. And the lawsuits were later dismissed. Australian department store Target pulled the game from their 300 stores following a Change.org petition against depictions of violence women towards the game. And what the fuck ever. And that's it. Have fun, but wait a second.
Almost done.
The point I'm making is just like, goddamn. Shipping 45 million copies, billions of dollars in revenue. I mean, let's call it what it is. Between 3 and now 5, you've got at least $10 billion in sales. It's a fucking marketing juggernaut. Grand Theft Auto has become pop culture at this point. It's like, even if you're not a gamer, at some point, some people know of the name of Grand Theft Auto. And even if you haven't played all of them, you know what Grand Theft Auto is. I was fortunate enough to like play each one of them. We'll go through the campaigns and stuff. I did like the story of Trevor and Franklin and just Tommy and these characters. People mostly playing for how friggin' outrageous it is, how much you explore, the crazy shit you can do. I mean, who didn't want to get fucking 5 stars and start getting chased by tanks and stuff and have the army trying to kill you and everything? But here comes just the endless hypocrisy in terms of censorship. So I've said this before jokingly on my podcast and in real life. So I can sit there and beat someone to death. I can murder people. I can run them over. I can do endless acts of violence. But don't say offensive words. If you say offensive words, well, that's where my fucking line is drawn.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
It is total and utter bullshit.
Bullshit.
All I can see at the end of the day is, will this game sell? I'm sure it's still going to sell. It's Grand Theft Auto. Some people don't care that much. But we'll see, because a lot of people do care. I'm to the point now as a consumer and as a blue-collar loser that if I'm going to drop $60 or $70 on your game, if you're going to fucking dial back the offensive and racist humor and other bullshit like that, okay, so now what else are you going to fucking dial back on? It's going to be like, what? If okay, so she's a Latin character. If she shoots a friggin' black pedestrian, is that racist? If she shoots a cop, is that anti-cop? Is she only allowed to, like, shoot other people of her color and gender? I mean, it's like... The problem I have with censorship, all censorship, is when you start changing one thing, what else are you going to change? It makes you wonder. And, well, we'll see what happens, guys. But plenty of people would say the term that, get woke.
And I'm still broke.
There is no need for this change. The franchise is doing fucking fine. Everybody was having a great time with the Grand Theft Auto series. All the insane, crazy shit you can do. And now you're worried about, okay, well, we'll keep the game still violent, but just don't say mean things. Like, holy shit.
What are you, stupid?
But as always, this is probably my longest my longest news article, because I had to pull up these fucking, these numbers and stuff and talk about that. And I can't believe at this point now, guys, this whole woke bullshit, it's bad enough you've infected our movies and now your TV shows and now our fucking comics. And at least the one place we had left to go out and just have fun, have a good time, was fucking video games, was Grand Theft Auto. As somebody who works every damn day, there's some times where I get really frustrated at work. I do feel like punching somebody in the face. I don't, because I'm a civil person. But there's some days where I come home, I had a bad day at work, and you know what? I'm going to hop on COD and I'm going to fucking kill some people in Call of Duty. I'm going to hop in Mortal Kombat and do things I can't do in real life. But also to the fact that these characters don't exist. You do understand the fact, right, that every time you hurt a female in a video game, or you hurt a person of color in a video game...
Oh, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real!
And that's all I got to say. In the end, guys, hey, Rockstar, like I said, you've done myself, my friends, even my kid, a massive favor by, you just saved me $70 fucking dollars. Because at the end of the day, all I got is one message for you, and it's pretty simple.
In the meantime, and as usual, go fuck yourself!
And as always, I'm in a rush, and tonight I'm going to check out the new Brad Pitt film called Bullet Train, and unlike this game, I'm looking forward to experience it. So I'm checking my time, and yeah, that's it. That's all I can think about. As always, I'm going to finish this drink. After reading this article, I'm looking forward to going back to work.